Christian Obumseli, or Toby Obumseli, was killed April 3rd, 2022 in Miami, Florida by his ex-partner, Courtney Clenney, or famously known as Courtney Tailor on Instagram and OnlyFans. To the outside world, it seemed that this relationship was picture perfect, but in reality, the relationship was very unhealthy and very abusive. From concussions to racial slurs, Christian became a victim of domestic violence. Today, Courtney remains her innocence in a Miami jail as she awaits possibly life. To add, she also claims that she was the victim in this case. Did anybody think Courtney would go this far? Do you think her prejudices led her to kill? Or was it her harsh demeanor that drove her to take the life of Christian Obumseli?
Hey, word on the street, I'm a suspect. Hanging with the killers in the projects. Taylor want a barrel, keep quiet. Catch a nigga slipping from behind. OG, Bobby, Johnson.
Hey y'all, hey, we are back with another SW and true crime video. Happy New Year, y'all. Haven't seen y'all since my last case. Thank y'all so much for all the love on the West Mesa Bone Collector part 1 and 2. If you haven't checked out that case, this is now your time to, check it out. Give my other cases some listens, some views, some likes, because these cases aren't really known and they need to be known, honestly. This year, I think I want to do weekly or bi-weekly updates. I also want to make sure I'm posting on Mondays. So now you will get a new true crime case from me almost every Monday or every other Monday. I also think I'm going to make a separate chat in my Discord. So if you're not a part of my Discord, check the description below so you can be a part of the conversation. I think I'm going to call it True Crime, something like that related. So yeah, if you want to join my fan club, make sure you just go down there and join my Discord and say hello. I also just want to thank y'all so much. I see y'all in the comments. I see y'all talking about it on Twitter, talking about the cases. I just appreciate y'all so much for all the love and the continuous support. I truly, truly, truly mean that from the bottom to the top of my heart. Life has been crazy for me with sickness and stuff, but now I am healed, I am better, and I am back. I have so much planned this year and I can't wait to accomplish it all with you all. Just to give a brief warning, this case has some mentions of racism and domestic abuse. This is the first case where an OF model is the killer, so I guess this is like the first. There's honestly a lot more than I thought, so I can't wait to do some of those with you. I'm also going to change how I'm doing the cases. I'm going to do a more relaxed approach, so I'll be giving a lot of my input more, and honestly going to give some more education background, because this case, I feel like you'll see, we have a lot of things to talk about with this case. As I've mentioned previously, this case does have abuse and racism, so if that's not something you want to hear, I completely understand, and I hope to catch you in another video. I want to give my condolences to the family, and again, the information I am sharing is public information, and all of my resources will be linked below. Alrighty, let's get into our next case. Christian Obumseli, or Toby Obumseli, was born April 10th, 1994 in Dallas, Texas, and grew up in Plano, Texas, where he graduated from Plano East Senior High School in 2012. He had a few or two siblings, Jeffrey Obumseli and Jen Ides, or Ides, I'm not sure how you say it, from what I could find. His family described Christian to be fun and loving and super caring. Christian received his BA in Communications and Business Management from Texas Tech University, which upon looking it up looks like a cute public university in Lubbock, Texas. I believe that's how you say that. And this is how it looks. Pretty cute. And it's about 5 hours from where he grew up. So I'm sure he kind of just wanted to stay close to home, but kind of not really. And I really feel that. According to his Facebook, Christian was the CEO and founder of Wiseman and Peachtree LLC, established in 2018, I believe, and also traded cryptocurrency. Overall, his family and friends said that Christian was so pleasant to be around. In 2020, Christian met Courtney Clenney on a mutual friends trip. They immediately hit it off and began dating in November of that year. I strangely couldn't find any information about Courtney's childhood, but Courtney Tailor Clenney was born April 21st, 1996 in Austin, Texas. As I previously stated, her background wasn't mentioned much, but according to a trusted source, she discovered drama and stage art at the age of 13 and started attending local dance classes and workshops. After completing her studies, which I'm unsure if they mean like high school studies or if she attended college, Courtney decided to stay in Austin, Texas, and honestly decided to become a social media star. Courtney began going by the name Courtney Tailor on her Instagram as well as her OnlyFans. She went with the niche as the homegrown Texas blonde that loved black men. On the We in Miami podcast, she talked about how she only dated black men because that's her preference. As someone who sees women in the industry all the time using labels like Snow Bunny, Pog, or using BBC Lover, or different just fetishization of color, I automatically knew what type of person or content creator Courtney was. I see this all the time in the industry, and a lot of content creators like myself talk about this all the time. Those terms are not okay. It's deep rooted in racism. It's deep rooted in just the fetishization of loving someone for their color, of just wanting someone for their color, of profiting off of someone for their color. And usually, as we'll talk about in this case, you'll see where models that use these terms are just making money out the wazoo because it's honestly race play, if we're being real. Slight race play. It's not like it's hard race play, but this is, to me, first steps and levels, like constantly saying that you only, and saying interracial is okay, but saying interracial every time and only going for people that of lighter preference, or only going for people of white preference or Asian descent or brown descent, it shows, it's telling, and it tells a lot, and it's detrimental to the community that you're trying to profit from. A preference is a preference, but broadcasting it to profit when it's detrimental to a community is another thing.
Me, Taylor, and I do OF for a living.
OnlyFans. You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date black guys, especially black guys. Let me clarify. I only date rich.
Okay, rich black guys. There we go. And you know you're toxic.
Yeah.
You can tell. Do you like to be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Pretty well, yeah, in the bedroom,
Yes.
But like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
Yeah, so you only want them to tell you what to do in the bedroom. Other than that, you don't want them to tell you anything.
Right. No, that's exactly it. Yes.
So that sounds like you're a control freak with your relationships. Be careful with this one. She's gonna boss you around like
sweet toxicity.
According to Courtney, she earned majority of her income from OnlyFans, with the occasional advertisements here and there from Instagram. With over 2 million on Instagram and many on OF, people fell in love with Courtney's aesthetic. It seems the couple may have been long distance or may have lived with one another in Austin or Dallas, Texas, but they later decide to move together to Miami, Florida. In the afternoon, reports don't really give a direct time. On Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, dispatchers got a call from Courtney Clenney stating that she stabbed her ex-boyfriend, Christian Obumseli, in the shoulder. Courtney was heard apologizing and praying to God that he would be okay. Christian is also heard in the background saying that he can't feel his arm.
But my boyfriend is dying of a stab.
It's a panicked and frantic 911 call coming from Courtney Clenney, the OnlyFans model accused of stabbing her boyfriend Christian Obumseli to death. You can hear Obumseli in the background saying what appears to be his final words.
I'm gonna die. I can't get my arm.
Clenney apologizing.
Baby, I'm so sorry.
Before the call could drop, Courtney cries, "Please save my boyfriend." The officers reported to the domestic violence incident around 5 p.m. local time, which took place at the One Edgewater at Parazio, which was their apartment complex, I believe. Paramedics found Christian with an apparent knife wound to the shoulder, and Miami police saw Courtney with blood-soaked clothes, as you can see here in these photos. According to Courtney, Christian was preparing to attack her, so she had no choice but to throw the kitchen knife at him from 10 feet away. Christian was transported to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, Florida, where he succumbed to his injuries. Being that this is now a homicide instead of a domestic violence incident, police brought Courtney in for questioning immediately. In the interrogation room, Courtney puts her head down in her hands and says something too low for cameras to pick up. She can be heard pleading, please God, let him be okay." After being told Christian was being monitored by attendants and may be needing x-rays, Courtney perks up and says, oh my God, so he isn't even, like she was gonna say, so he isn't even dead. And then she says, so they're not gonna do any surgery? And I feel like she said that because she pretty much probably saw how much blood he lost, and just how gruesome of a wound it was. She seems to perk up, as you can see in the interview here.
The police were involved yesterday when there shouldn't have been anything. And then I think there was like 1 or 2 times where I don't think the police were called, but maybe security, when, well, if you're talking about police, that's definitely the only times I can remember. Security got a call for noise complaint, for sure.
Because of arguments, or? Oh. And what do you guys usually argue about?
I don't even know.
You think you can tell us the story one more time, just so I can make sure that I didn't miss anything?
Didn't you write everything down? You went to go get me Subway. We wake up, we've broken up. I broke up with him about a week ago. My mom came into town. She was in town because of it. And I told her, like, what am I saying? Anyway, she came into town because of this. She was there for about 6 days. My boyfriend was freaking squatting in my elevator, like, little room. But I didn't want to kick him out because he said he wanted to be close to me. I'm like, okay. I eventually feel like, okay, I got this under control. You can go home.
So she's talking about her story, and the story honestly doesn't make that much sense to me. She keeps saying, let Christian tell you, kind of like she kind of trained him. I don't know if you've been in like, I don't want to say if you've been in a domestic relationship or an abusive relationship, but a lot of times your abuser will try to, give you a script to go by, and they won't say anything. They'll let you say it because you're going to dig your own hole. That's their mindset. So I feel like when I was watching her interview, she was switching back and forth, and it kind of gave me what I needed to see about the case. So, okay, anyway, her energy automatically shifts when detectives tell her that Christian did not make it. She begins to repeat, is this real? Is this real, right?
The Christian did not make it. Okay. Unfortunately, the doctors did what they could.
Christian is dead.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Then after a long pause, she says, okay, there's no way. Is Christian dead? Can I have a hug, please? She literally asked for a hug from the 2 detectives. Strangely, the 2 detectives were about to stand up to embrace her. But before she could even accept the hug, Courtney changed her mind and said, actually, I want to hug my mom. Is it possible if I can hug my mom? She also added, I cannot be left alone. with myself. And I guess she was hinting towards her mental health, because I think she struggled with mental health. Courtney then clutched her midsection and went to the trash can and leaned over the trash can for a bit before asking detectives again, was this the truth? All in all, she was just pretty distraught, and just emotions were all over the place after finding out that Christian was dead and that prison may be in her future. She again began to give her side of events and doubled down on her self-defense claims. Due to her domestic violence claims, she was released. This absolutely aggravated Christian's family, and they felt that the only reason why Courtney was released was because she was a white woman and Christian was a black man. His family began to speak out on social media, saying that Courtney is the killer and that Christian was the victim of domestic violence. People, specifically people involved in Black Twitter, shied away from this topic and honestly did not have much to say. In fact, these are some of the things that I found. I think these are the more like harsher things that I found, but a lot of people weren't honestly saying anything. And I was on Twitter around that time that all of this was transpiring. Honestly, people's feelings and actions towards this case was because Christian used to tweet some very anti-black women things when he was in high school. He would tweet the way, for example, these are his tweets, but I just want to call out one, the way black women act on TV, disgraceful. He would say, I can't wait to have mixed babies. White women's breasts look better than black women's breasts. It just gave it. I was gonna say, it just gave what we see a lot. Yeah, with the whole, what I said, the fetishization. It's never just you like somebody. It always has to be a fetishization thing. So a lot of people found those tweets and they just felt like he got, I don't want to say he got what he got, but people found those tweets and people just honestly felt like they had nothing else to say, sadly. His brother stated on his Instagram on April 10th, which would have been Christian's 28th birthday. I will post it here, but I also want to shine light on a few things that he said. As a family, we strongly disagree with the ignorant and repulsive tweets from my then high school aged brother that have recently surfaced. However, the tweets do not diminish our demand for a thorough investigation into Toby's murder or negate the necessity for justice. He later stated that Courtney is being treated differently because of her privilege as a white, wealthy woman. Within 24 hours following Toby's death, the detective on the case prematurely concluded that this was not a crime of violence. The information provided is deficient, and the lack of transparency strongly suggests that foul play is involved. The family also stressed that Christian's back was turned to Courtney and that he honestly had no weapons at all on him. To make matters even worse, according to prosecutors, Courtney wired her father $1.2 million and bought a $1.32 million home in Austin, Texas, near her family's, literally days after she committed the murder. She also posted on April 4th, which would have been the following day, that she found out that Christian was gone. I would be pretty shaken up. It doesn't matter if it's self-defense or not. I would be pretty like distraught if I would have stabbed the person that I loved. A week or so after Christian's death, Courtney was even seen getting drinks at a hotel bar. A week or so after Christian's death, Courtney was even seen getting drinks at a hotel bar with a friend. She literally looks completely fine. Her lawyer came forward and said that she was seeking treatment in Hawaii for her PTSD and other issues related to the case. Which I believe also was a way for the judge to feel like she was so distraught, because if you could see in the media, she did not look distraught at all. I really feel like the lawyers was trying to play like she's so distraught, she needs help. That's just my opinion. However, Courtney was arrested in Hawaii on August 10th in connection to Christian's murder. According to Miami-Dade attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle, Christian was a victim of domestic violence stretching back to the beginning of the relationship in November of 2020. Messages from Christian's iCloud account detail 2 instances in particular that would have raised red flags. The first correspondence took place in October 2021 in Austin, Texas, where Christian and Courtney got into a heated argument that led to Courtney stabbing Christian in his leg. In the messages, he wrote how he was stabbed twice by the incensed Courtney. His text described that he was hurt so badly that he could hardly walk. It just hurt so bad. Another flare-up, literally a day later, the injured Christian is hit on the head with something by Courtney and is left with a concussion. Still recovering from the injuries sustained by Courtney, Christian begs and pleads to lay on the couch to just recover from his injuries. The text said that he thought he had a concussion, his head was bleeding, and he was vomiting. The next day, Christian expressed his misery to his friends and told them that Courtney spit on him and was pounding her phone on his face in the back of his head. Literally the next day, knowing he had a concussion. This in late January, which I'm guessing would have been last year. Christian had pictures of 2 cuts on his cheek and chin from an apparent fight with Courtney. These photos are documents of the wounds, and they are now obtained by the police. I'm guessing he took the pictures to show his family and friends about the abuse. Those injuries were reportedly severe enough that Christian would have had to get stitches. However, there isn't any record of him receiving stitches or Courtney receiving any repercussions for her actions. In February 2022, Courtney is seen leaping on Christian in an elevator. This video is honestly what made me learn about the case. The video went viral pretty fast. In the video, you can literally see her closed fist punch him and pull his hair to the point where his braids are now like not together by the rubber band, like they're snapped. According to a March 5th cell phone video obtained by WSVN, Courtney is heard saying, "I'm actually effing not having a good day, where I actually literally effing want to kill you." I'm guessing she was talking to Christian. She added, "But you don't take me seriously." That is so scary, y'all. In another recording, which the details about when the day are unknown, Courtney is heard calling Christian the N-word and telling him to hurry up and charge her phone or she's gonna slap him.
My phone!
Cece,
don't touch me!
What is going on? Like, what are you gonna get this mad at me when I'm apologizing to you?
No, Christian.
Like, you're thinking I'm doing it on
purpose? Drop your high pitch.
Okay, I'm not doing it on purpose.
You touched the R. You know damn well the right thing to do is to tell me.
Yes, and I am so sorry.
So shut up and let me f***ing slap you, dumbass.
No, you're not gonna
charge it.
What?
Find it and charge it.
I'm sorry, Courtney.
I don't care. Find it and charge it.
Okay, just stop.
Don't touch me.
Oh. You said keep right.
Christian, just find my goddamn phone.
I don't have your phone. Can you
just find my phone.
Cece, can you just please
shut up?
Just please.
Shut up. You want to go f***ing talk to her without
take you to act and call me a
You're
Yes, thank you. Coming from Judy, thank you.
I want you to get away from me. Get away from me.
Prosecutors also released body cam footage taken 2 days before the murder, showing Courtney asking police officers for a restraining order against Christian. Police arrive because they were called for a domestic violence disturbance. One of the building's security guards came up to the police officers to tell them that he was the one that called the police because he saw Christian charging towards Courtney.
So the lobby area, her boyfriend comes charging towards her, and we actually try to get in the middle of it. So I told Artisha to go get the keys so she can go back into her unit.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna
My boyfriend. He hasn't paid any rent. Okay. I don't care. I'll hold it down. But I broke up with him about a week ago. I had my mom fly out. She stayed with me for a week. She tried to like get him out, and he kept sleeping in the elevator room inside of my like extra couch. And somehow I said, okay, Mom, like it's cool for you to go home today. I think I got it from here. I literally like took her to the airport this morning. I stayed in my apartment all day. I didn't take my dogs out for like 8 hours because I was afraid that when I came down here, he was going to beat them. And when I did come down, I walked my dogs, and he was telling me he wouldn't leave me alone. I said, can I please just walk my dogs in peace? We're not together.
Courtney, does he have any property in your apartment?
He has so much. Can I, with respect, can I please? I just like my house, and I want him. Okay, the police are here. I want a restraining order against Christian Obumseli.
Your questions are making much of an.
I am. Right now, like I have not always been a victim, but like right now I'm a freaking victim in the situation. I'm scared to go downstairs and walk my dogs. What can I do?
Okay, explain to me why you don't feel safe. Explain to me why you don't feel safe.
What am I?
Why is it that you don't feel safe with him? Has he threatened you? Was there any type of physical violence to you?
Yes. That's not really like my concern. It's just that like we're just stopped.
They also added that they got complaints all the time and argued in the building, in the lobby, in the pool area all the time. I even saw a TikTok where somebody that apparently was living under Courtney when all of this happened, saying that he will always see belongings being thrown over her balcony. In one instance, for example, I think like some days before the murder, there was a painting of a tiger that was thrown onto his balcony, and I think he either kept it or gave it to the police or something, but he literally made a video right after everything. It was like, it's crazy because he would hear them argue all the time. Christian's friends supported this claim because of one incident. Courtney was seen throwing his luggage over her balcony in a pond. And, you know, this is just class A abuser technique. She would replace his new things with name like luxury brands. So when she threw out his old luggage like over the balcony in the pond, she just replaced it with LV bags. Like, it's okay, I bought you new bags. Like, that's very much abuser behavior, like class A textbook. Some friends say that the abuse went both ways. They were very always hostile towards each other, but some people that actually were around Christian got to see and saw him as very docile and very apologetic anytime he would do anything wrong, just to make Courtney not upset. It is also noted that Courtney liked to use blow or cocaine, which is known to make someone more aggressive. Cops who testified at the bail hearing also pointed the finger at Courtney. I learned that Christian was always the one to try to calm the situation down. Miami detective Yermaine Briacinco told the court last month. Odd enough and thankfully, Christian recorded these instances in his text messages about his abuse from Courtney. This would be the evidence needed to ensure that Christian was indeed the victim here. August 10th, Courtney Clenney was charged with second-degree murder with a deadly weapon and was arrested in La Pauhoehoi, Hawaii. I'm guessing this is where she went for treatment for her substance abuse as well as her PTSD. She was later extradited to Miami, Florida for her bail hearing. Miami State Attorney's Office asked for Courtney to not be released on bail before her trial. At a hearing, she alleged that she earned over $3 million from OnlyFans, which makes her a flight risk. Courtney Clenney pleaded not guilty to the murder of her ex-boyfriend, Christian Obumseli. During a Wednesday morning hearing, Courtney's attorney reaffirmed her not guilty plea entered previously in writing on August 15th. On December 8th, 2022, Judge Lauren Sharon Cruz denied Courtney Clenney's request by her attorneys that she'll be released from jail before her trial date. Judge Cruz said the defendant shall be held without bond pending the trial. Courtney could potentially face life in prison with the 1 second-degree murder charge. The next status hearing is February 8th, so about like less than a month, like 2 weeks from now. I believe that this trial could be where like all the evidence is presented, but I'm not sure. At her bail hearing, Courtney was seen crying as the judge read out her denial. The jurors went on to talk about all the piles of evidence against Courtney, where it just showed the toxic relationship and where Christian was being abused. They also examined the medical examiner's report of Courtney's claims that she threw the knife 10 feet away because Christian was raging. As if the stab wound could have caused by a thrown knife, the medical examiner simply said no, stating the pressure needed to penetrate the skin and muscle of Christian, who died from a punctured subclavian artery. They stated this just could not have happened from a distance. This wound was about 3 inches or 8 centimeters, which is about like here. And they also reported that it was from a forceful downward motion. Okay, y'all, like, just a note, y'all know how much like force that has to be to like sever that kind of artery? Like, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but back in my medical day when I was pursuing medicine, I had to learn all the arteries on the subclavian artery. Like, you have to go through so much muscle, like, and he was pretty athletic. Like, that takes a lot of force, and for her to say she threw that, unless she goes axe throwing every day or she's on some Katniss, bow and arrows but with knives, and then this is the knife she used. I just don't know. That doesn't add up. They also detailed the 2 incidences that we previously mentioned, where the elevator accident and also the incidents where she stabbed him in the leg. In fact, after the messages were released, an attorney for Christian's family later came out to say that this showed that Courtney terrorized his life and that they were definitely gonna file a wrongful death lawsuit against Courtney. Her attorney, Frank Prieto, on the other hand, states that the 911 call that Courtney made honestly gave the raw, pure chaos, compassion, and confusion, and honestly just showed that she was trying to defend herself. He furthers to say that the audio of Courtney's 911 call is not an admission of guilt. He also stated, like many other victims, Courtney allowed her aggressor to come back in the apartment, and eventually she had to defend for her own life. Christian's attorney, Larry Hanfield, states that the 911 call clearly states that she was not trying to defend herself. He states that she says, I'm sorry, instead of saying I had to stab him because I was trying to defend myself. Christian's family is also reiterating that he would never hurt Courtney. Karen Egbuna, Christian's cousin, stated that we have no cause to believe that she was defending herself. Toby was raised from a strong family with strong morals and strong values. He does not come from that.
Devastation doesn't quite describe what my family is experiencing right now. Yesterday, we finally told our 93-year-old grandmother that her grandson, who was expected to come home to Texas to visit for his 28th birthday, will no longer or ever be returning home. We have not had an opportunity to even start to grieve the loss of our family, of our brother, cousin, son.
His death has opened up conversation about domestic abuse towards men and also conversations about race. People don't believe that a man is capable of being the victim of domestic abuse, but it's quite common. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some type of physical violence from their partner. This includes behaviors such as slapping, shoving, and pushing. 1 in 7 women and 1 in 25 men have been injured by an intimate partner. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have been victims of severe violence that includes beating, burning, and strangling by their intimate partner in their lifetime. The rhetoric that you have to be strong at all times is very, very, very detrimental in the Black community, especially in Black men. It's okay to not be okay. As usual, I'll be sharing my tips. This is a little different because this is a domestic violence case. We have covered a previous case like this, but again, I just want to share a little tips that I feel like may help. For starters, please let someone be aware of your situation. In this case, as you see, Christian was texting people to let others know, because ultimately this could be evidence, sadly, if something would be, worst case. But other than that, just having a community would definitely make you feel better. Like being from somebody who was in a situation, like that. It wasn't, aggressively abusive, thank God, like I said in the other video, but it was definitely happening. And just having somebody to have your back and a shoulder to cry on just means so much. Domestic violence is so common, sadly, and you should not feel ashamed. They should feel ashamed for taking their anger and their hurt out on somebody that has nothing to do with their own hurt. Last but not least, I always say this: trust your gut feeling. If you feel uneasy, go for it. Go with your gut. You know yourself. Tell someone, as I stated previously, like the police, a friend, family. Just tell somebody. And if you're filing a police report, make sure you take a picture of that police report and send it to somebody just for records. It's best to have so much records than to have nothing at all. I also want to say it's best to carry around protection. Just something to have, because you truly just never know these days. And it's just so sad that we've came to that. As for this case, more information comes out as time goes on. She will remain behind bars while she awaits her trial on February 8th. I feel like all of the evidence is pointing to her, especially the N-word videos, like the pictures of the cuts. Like, we haven't seen it. It's not been released because it's evidence, but I just feel like those are clear as day that, like, she has, like, a fixation with stabbing. And if you also could hear, like, in the video that he called, like, the N-word, like, I just feel like she was very jealous. And even just watching her demeanor in like the videos, just researching just her and like having to see her demeanor and you're gonna do what I say type of vibe. I can only imagine what kind of beast she became with adding like cocaine and like drugs on top of that. Like, just adding just somebody just being super mean, super demanding, racist, like, and then adding drugs and possibly untreated mental illness too, because in her cases a lot of times, like, I've read that like she kept saying like a lot of times Christian would forgive her because she would say like, like about my mental illness, about, my outbursts and things like that. But I just felt like it just didn't give that she was trying to get help, or she was trying to get help until it was the last minute where she killed him. And now she ran to a facility to receive treatment for things that she'd been needed treatment for. As I stated previously about Black Twitter, you have people that are standing 10 toes down on what they said and honestly just not sharing any energy into the case. For the people that are saying free Courtney, I feel like they're falling under the pretty people never commit crime mantra, which is honestly BS. Like, we've seen that with Ted Bundy and like what other like weird fascinations they have with, like, I think, was it it was Manson, and it was somebody else too. The Night Stalker. People where he had like weird fan clubs too. Like, I feel like people that have fan behavior, like, I'm not trying to quote Bailey Sarian, like, get better idols, but like, I would definitely keep you posted on her upcoming trial. I just honestly wished Christian would have gotten the help, or just would have just left before it could have gotten to this. Again, as I stated, I just believe he didn't want anybody to see him as weak. And we have this thing in Black culture where we just need to be strong all the time, especially men. And then just adding African culture, which is totally different in Black culture, but kind of the same, but kind of not in the same sense, of just deep rooted of we just have to always be strong no matter what. And it's very toxic, and situations like this happen because people are scared to speak up about it. Christian, I hope you are truly at peace, and I hope we get you justice. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me with another episode. Make sure you like and subscribe, and comment what case you want me to cover next. I see y'all comments. I make sure I respond back to them. I appreciate y'all so much for sticking around with me and commenting and just sticking around with me. Make sure you check out the description for the Discord. And yeah, until next time. Bye.